You are now listening to or watching the It Takes All Kinds podcast.
Yeah, and if you aren't, you can head over to Apple Podcasts or Spotify and listen to us now, or head on over to Drib on YouTube and watch the video version as well.
And if you'd like to stay up to date on when we're releasing a new episode or any other fun information about the podcast, you can give us a follow on Instagram at It Takes All Kinds Podcast and on Twitter at ITAK Podcast. That's ITAK Podcast.
Without saying much else, we hope you enjoy this episode.
Thought about killing myself.
That might be the official mix now.
Yeah.
That might be the official mix.
Well, you know, our family is a very big Family Feud family.
Oh yeah, you guys are.
We are. I wish I was kidding.
Really?
I wish I was kidding. Yeah, that was that's been a tradition for like almost a year now. Just turn it on whenever we go over. Whenever I come home, they just turn it on.
They just know you love it.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever watched a full episode.
Oh my God.
Family
I've
Feud.
probably watched at least 100 episodes this year.
Watched plenty of episodes of Family Ties.
Odd.
I've never watched an episode of
Hello and welcome to the It Takes All
Family
Kinds.
Matters. Ha, what did I do that?
Ha! What did I do that?
Carl!
That kills people.
Carl!
Thought about killing myself.
That's what
Welcome-
Urkel said. You remember that episode where Urkel says he...
No, I thought you were talking about the llamas with hats or whatever from like early 2010s.
Oh God, I forgot about
Yeah.
that. Why did you remind me of that?
I saw.
I really wish you hadn't brought that up. I really wish you hadn't brought that up.
Welcome to It Takes All. Welcome to It Takes All Kinds podcast, episode 150.
Nope, 148.
Oh, 148.
I said everything but that number.
No, I swear to God, I thought you said 150.
I thought it was 149.
Oh, 148. Okay,
And then I was like, wow, next week's 150. So I did eventually
Yeah,
say
you got there one time.
Yeah.
Welcome to episode 148. We're recording this on Wednesday. January 3rd. You'll be
Yeah.
hearing this on Friday, January 5th. 5th.
We're doing it on a Wednesday. Gavin is not feeling great. So if you're
I'm really slow.
If you're wondering why he's so slow and why he's just sucking today,
Yeah.
that's why. Also,
We had a crazy New Year's, man.
we did. And also about 5 minutes before the episode, I broke my headphones.
Yeah. You didn't have to
And-
say anything to anyone.
I didn't, but I just thought that should be known because I'm probably going to be doing a lot of this. It's still very loose.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's very loose.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah, you can
feel it.
really look at that.
Yeah, I'm going to have to buy new headphones, and that's not great because these were not cheap.
Yeah.
I really did not want to buy. I didn't really want to.
Didn't put that in your budget, huh?
Nope. Didn't plan on it.
Well,
back to the
yeah,
Turtle
we had
Beaches.
Carson when we got on the dock.
Well, like you said,
Crazy
we
New
had a
Year.
Crazy New Year's, which we'll talk about a little bit. Gavin is going to be briefing us on the growing warnings of risky IV drips and injections at unregulated med spas. We've kind of talked about it. I think we've talked about it on the show.
I think we've talked about the like designer IV bag shit.
Yeah,
It's
which
really
is what
weird.
this is.
Still weird.
We also have a Gavin's Techno World, a shorter one.
Yeah, short one. Very short, very easy, but it is something that you might be a little bit confused about it as a consumer.
I'm confused about it.
And it's
That's not even a
yeah,
joke.
it's even weirder now.
Make sure you have your theme song ready for that.
I don't have it anymore. I don't know what happened to it.
Shit.
I mean, I could probably find it, but
And then we have a video that we're going to react to
where the fuck
about
is QuickTime?
about new laws alert coming to 2024. Lots of new laws. Going to go over those and talk about them. Also, a Nextdoor Drama titled, I'll just give you the title right now. It's Not Fair to Our Big Dogs.
Hold on. Can I pause it real quick? All right, I found it.
Okay. Got it. It's not lost, folks. Happy New Year, by the way.
Look
It's
how many.
the New Year.
Look how many. Like I actually made this like a whole like.
Damn, Daft Punk over here.
Yeah, I know.
Fuck, yeah, you're Daft Punk, mate.
Yeah, I'm Daft Punking over here.
Oh,
mate.
you're a fucking Daft Punk, aren't you?
Daft, aren't you?
It was a wild New Year's this year. It was really fun. It was literally up until the day of, I was like, I don't know
I don't
how
have
this
plans.
New Year's is gonna. Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't. I didn't. I really didn't have
Can
plans
you mute?
until.
Can you mute my mic real quick?
Sure. Everything all right?
No, I'm gonna restring it.
Oh, okay. Hold on. You're good. Yeah, literally up until a few hours before, I really didn't know if I or we had plans. I didn't know if I had plans. Gavin did actually have plans, but I didn't. And I was like, I don't know, this is what's gonna happen. But we ended up going to. Gavin's brother's
Oh, man, I smell
Sean.
that, man.
Sorry,
It
I
smells
had
like watermelon.
disgusting ramen earlier, and it's really running right through me.
But you had like the traditional ramen.
Yeah, dude, it was like bath water.
Yeah.
Excuse me, that's enough. There's a Seinfeld. Yeah, that's another one. There's a Seinfeld clip
Where he goes, no soup for you.
yeah, with the Nazi soup.
Yeah, the soup Nazi.
No, the Nazi soup.
Wow.
Where George is talking about how this restaurant uses the bouillabaisse as a toilet, which the bouillabaisse is like the broth. And I was thinking about that as I was eating it because it tasted like dog water.
Oh no, I went
noodles.
there orientation week this year, and fucking loved it. I ate all of it. It was so good.
What did you get there?
Just like the
No,
normal,
we're not gonna put this place on blast. I'm not saying
just like the
that.
normal place. Just like the normal regular, like whatever.
Ramen.
Yeah, chicken ramen or whatever.
That's what I had. I had a
It
chicken.
was fucking awesome.
I was gonna say what it was called, but it kind of gives it away. It's kind of a funny name though. It's called the Hebrew Hammer.
No, I didn't have that.
Okay,
No,
maybe
didn't have
that's where I
that.
went wrong. It was just bad. It was bad news. But the person who I was with really liked it. But anyways, back to New Year's. We went to Sean brothers. We went to Gavin's
Brother's girlfriend's house.
Sean, who's been on the show
This
many
cherry
times.
is actually more
Friend of the
green.
show.
I thought it was black. This is
It
like
is really green,
It's like
isn't
green.
it? That's
I
kind
don't
of a
know.
fun color.
Yeah. Anyway.
And we had a gay old time over there.
Yeah.
There it is.
Oh yeah. Hold on. Sorry.
Thanks, Alex.
He's
down
over
there.
Yep.
He's in a hole because he has no more money. I forgot to turn off like notifications and everything. And so we went over there. I proceeded to get very intoxicated.
Yeah.
I drank a half a bottle of Smirnoff.
That's
to myself.
That was crazy because that had been here forever.
It had been here since
4th of July.
No, I bought that for the Christmas party. For
Oh
the
really?
Chri-
Oh
yeah,
really?
yeah.
Wow.
So I hadn't
That
been
was
that
pretty
long,
quick
but I knew
turnaround.
I wanted to get rid of it,
Yeah.
and I did.
You knew the way to get rid of it.
I knew how to get rid of it, and then some. I had some even after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Some new friends there. I want to give a shout out to my PO, my parole officer.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to get him in trouble. But he turned out to. I didn't know this prior. I kind of knew him because he's friends with Sean.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of knew him prior, but we didn't know until he got there that he's an actual parole officer.
Yeah.
And so, of course, as soon as I hear that, I'm like, oh, well, that's the rest of the night. That's
My night was made.
My night was made. I'm like, this is my parole officer. And thank God he was going along with it. And we were having a
You
lot
kept
of fun
saying
with that.
I don't know if you remember this, but
I
you said
do.
he looked like Mads Mikkelsen.
He did. He looked exactly like him. Because I was like, I kept looking at him and I was like, fuck, who does he look like? And then at probably my peak intoxication, I was like,
It's the
007.
bad guy from Casino Royale.
There you go.
You told me that. You're like, "Oh, I figured it out.
yeah, it
was
blew
like
my
3 in the
mind.
morning.
And everybody was like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
His girlfriend was like, yeah, she was like, no. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, he does. I was
Yeah,
like,
at least
yeah,
a
he
little
does.
bit.
And he was like, yeah. But he was a lot of fun. It was all of those people were great. They were great to joke with, and like a friend of ours had mentioned that I had a podcast, and they were like saying how it was like a right wing
It was a
podcast, manosphere.
like man alpha male
Yeah.
Sigma shit.
And so of course they were digging into that, and somehow they knew who Fresh and Fit were, which I'm like, how does anybody who's not like obsessively online know who Fresh and Fit? Do you even know?
I knew about him, but that's
Okay.
because they come up on TikTok and people were like, "Don't listen to what these people say."
Right. And so they kept digging into that and saying it was that we have an alt-right podcast.
Yeah, we're like
and
Q
stuff.
adjacent, Alex
Yeah.
Jones type.
And that was great because that's like right up my alley. It's just like making jokes like that.
Mm-hmm.
I love when people. I'm glad that they knew, but I always love when we make jokes like that with people who don't know us that well, and then
Yeah.
they're like, "Wait, are they for real?"
Yeah, that face
did
was
happen
definitely
once.
that happened a couple of times. They were like, "No,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, and we're like, "Nope."
Nope."
But that was a lot of fun, and Gavin went out and had some fun.
Yeah,
with your friends.
Actually,
First.
yeah, I had like 4 or 5, I'm not kidding. This is not to brag or anything like that, but I did kind of have to pick and choose what I wanted to do.
Oh, nice.
Someone had
a good brag.
Yeah, it's a good brag where I was like, okay.
Because I had nothing. I had to force plan.
One of my friends went to a bar out in St. Louis. Another one went in like off Hampton, and like another friend, I could have went with you guys. I could have went and kind of done my own thing, but yeah, I ended up going to Main Street and paid a $60 cover.
Yeah,
paid a $60 cover, which I heard that they were fluctuating between 60 and 80, and they were just kind of like, fuck it, whoever wants to pay 80 can pay 80 kind of thing.
Right.
Or they were telling people and people would pay it. So
yeah, and we haven't really talked about it. What was it like there? Was it pretty busy?
No, it was actually pretty busy. Up top, it wasn't as busy as I've ever seen it before. I think the busiest I've ever seen it was
the time we went there.
Yeah, the time we went there was fucking packed for no reason. Like it wasn't like a holiday or anything. It was just super fucking packed.
I hated it.
They had a baked potato bar.
That's so weird.
When I say baked potato bar, I mean like someone was cutting baked potatoes for you, and they would put on the ingredients for you.
Sidetracking a little bit here, what is up with every bar on New Year's like offering food for the first time ever? I've never seen, but it's like every like bar flyer I saw was like free pizza, free food, and I'm like, that's like never. I've never seen that for
like
anything
free
else.
champagne shots or whatever. Free
but that makes sense.
Toast.
But why? Where does the free? Why is New Year's like we got to give people free food too?
I don't know, but like I feel like
weird.
That should be kind of like a more norm thing because
I love that.
I would love that. I would love to go to a bar and just get pizza on my way out, which I did at this bar, which is crazy to me. I was like, they were literally like handing it out to us. But yeah, so went there and basically used all my cash because I just paid with cash, and I had been saving that cash for like probably a solid 6 months. So I was like, all right, whatever.
How were the drink prices?
I mean, they were included. You could get them for free.
All the drinks for free?
Mm-hmm. Technically free.
That's fucking worth it.
Yeah, $60 for unlimited drinks.
No limit?
No limit. They also opened up extra bars. So like the bar that's usually on the far side of the bar on the bottom floor is open. The one upstairs on the far side was also open.
Oh shit!
Yeah, like they had all the bars open.
Yeah, I would have paid that. Yeah, I'd pay that.
And you could
have
just went bounce between all the bars and just gotten a whole bunch of shit.
Nice.
Yeah. So
that's definitely worth it.
Yeah, but I only had 2 beers.
Right. Yeah.
I knew I wasn't gonna get too fucked up.
Yeah. I don't blame you. But then you met up with us.
Yeah. Then on my way,
around 3 a.m.
I met up with you guys. No, it was around like 1:45.
Was it really? I thought it was.
Yeah, we
later.
didn't leave till like 3:30 though. Or like 3.
Right. Yeah. That's right. We didn't go.
But I didn't get there till like 1:50.
Yeah.
And what sucked about that was that the bar down on Main Street closed at 1. Mm-hmm. They were forcing, or like they were slowly making everybody go out. But then around like 1:20, they were like, "All right, everybody out."
Yeah.
And they were like pushing us all out. And the group I was with kept running into people they knew, so I was just standing out in the cold,
nightmare.
Out in the cold, not knowing anyone but the people I was there with, and they kept running into people and having a conversation, and so I feel like that's partially why I got sick, but also because like it's a bar, so not surprised, but
sickness.
I mean, I'm not surprised by that, but I got complimented by a white guy with dreads. Nice. He said nice moves.
Okay.
Sick. Yeah, and I think then I went there and you guys, I called and the PO.
I had my PO greet you at the door.
Yeah, and
which I thought it was so funny. I felt bad, but at the same time I was just like, it's so funny because I knew you wouldn't say anything, but he kept you outside for so long. Yeah. And I was just laughing because I'm like,
and it was Sean's girlfriend that was like, can you guys just come inside?
Yeah, I was like, I should probably step in and let him in. But I was like, nah, I'll just keep it going because I knew you wouldn't say anything. To be like, hey, can I go in? I was like, no, I just got to keep the bit going.
And I pulled out my wallet really fast.
Yeah.
I said, here you go.
We've started a bit. It's probably already been done, but
that's been on TikTok for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
See,
where they're
I'm
like,
way behind.
it was someone in a car. This was like the first one I saw. And it was like someone in the car where it's like me trying to make the cop's job easier by reaching for my hair, handing him my wallet as fast as possible.
Really fast. But actually, before you got there, I don't know if we were still doing this bit whenever you got there, but at some point, I'm sure it was Sean who started it. It was Sean, our friend Spencer, and I, and like Sean and I, both friends of the show. I would look like Sean and I were on opposite ends of the kitchen, like across this like island, and I would just look over at Sean, and then he would just go. Like he was gonna throw up. So for like an hour, Spencer, Sean, and I would just be like looking at each other, and then we go. Just like, we're gonna puke. And then at one point, I started going. Like, everybody was like, "What's going on?" So we just kept doing that, like silently, just like throw up. And that was my favorite because I just love silent bits where nobody knows what's going on, but. Because we would just like, I'd be like answering a question to someone. I'd be like, yeah, no, that's crazy. And then we just do that. It was awesome. It was fun. I loved it.
So yeah, it was a wild New Year's. Did not get a New Year's kiss, but hey, are you surprised?
I didn't either. Well, that was the other thing I was going to say is when you got there, I felt bad for you. So we gave each other butterfly kisses.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that or not.
No, I don't remember that at all.
Oh, we did. Yeah, it was great.
We gave each other Eskimo kisses.
We gave each other sloppy seconds. Mm-hmm. You figure out.
You as the audience.
You decide at home.
You decide what that means.
Gavin, I want to play a little game with you. It's a new game. Everybody's favorite game. Everybody's talking about this game. It's a new favorite. You play along at home if you're watching on YouTube, youtube.com/official Drib Productions. That's the full URL.
Wow.
The game is called How Old Is This Person?
How old
is this person? Gavin, I'm going to show you a picture of this man, and I know you already know how old he actually is, but I just
want to post him on the screen.
I will. I'll show this on screen right now. I know you already know, but how old would you think this person is if you saw them?
37.
37. I would say, yeah, I would go with like 33 or so. So if you guys don't know who this person is, it's Luke Littler, and you can say that in 2024. I checked. He is a.
We're bringing that name with us into 2025.
We're not leaving that. We're leaving. We're leaving slightly ambiguous names that
could be interpreted as a
they don't
slur.
want to say too fast.
Yeah, you definitely want to enunciate that.
Luke Littler.
Is it Littler?
I think it would be Littler.
Nah, whatever.
It doesn't matter. Is a professional darts player from the UK.
From the UK.
And he is 16 years old.
He's going on to the World Darts Championship. He beat someone last night to make it to the World Darts Championship.
And he's 16 going on 37. This is the oldest
looking
16-year-old
I've ever seen. 16.
It was crazy. I saw this is going viral, just like Gavin is. He's a bit viral.
A bit viral.
And I saw it, and then it was like, you'll never believe how old this person is. And I was like, what? And then I saw someone in like a tweet reply saying like 16, born in 2007. And I was like, no way. There's no way. And I had to look it up, and I was like, that's insane. This person does not look that old.
And not only that, but he looks like he also has had pints of beer before.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
For
like
sure.
He just looks like that. I mean, where else are you gonna play darts though?
Right. I mean, like what? Yeah, that's the other thing too. Is like, where
did he get that good?
Like what is he?
There was his dad. Was his dad ever in the darts?
His dad was like, no, I should take my kid out to the pub. I know the owner.
I know the guy who owns this pub. He's a lovely fellow.
My wife said I got to spend more time with Luke, so we take him out to the pub.
Take him out to the pub with me.
And I would just let him play darts while me and Elijah would knock back a few.
Yeah, no, that's very odd. I saw that and I was like, no, I don't believe that.
I didn't believe it either. Amazing.
You would have thought that they would have been like, oh, hey, you have to be 18 to play this or to compete.
Right, but probably they didn't even have to check with him. That kid's not getting ID'd.
No,
for sure. Moving on though, Gavin, let's talk about these warnings growing about risky IV drips and injections at unregulated med spas. This was something that came across my radar by NBC News.
Which is crazy because it didn't come across mine.
Yeah, which is weird. And just a little bit of setup. I think I mentioned this a little bit, but I believe we talked about this a little bit, and because I wanted to do something way more in depth, and this is probably the extent of it, unless we end up doing that. But this kind of came across my radar because I was working a wedding, and the groomsmen in the morning had these people come in to give them IV drips because they were hungover. It was like electrolytes and shit like that. And it was just, and I think I knew about it beforehand for whatever reason, because I think we had seen somebody post about it.
We'd seen it in Chicago.
Yeah, and I think we saw somebody post about it, and I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
And I just thought it was so weird, and like, and not that this matters, but none of the people doing it really looked like they knew what they were doing. And the weird thing to me, and this could have just been a coincidence, but they were all very attractive people. Tight people, very tight, thin, nice, attractive people that were doing it.
Men and women.
And I was like, no offense, but most of the times I've been to like a hospital or somewhere where I've had to get like blood drawn or an IV. They're usually just a pretty average Joe kind of person.
Right.
Not that means anything, you know. They're
Like,
attractive to somebody, but they're not like
would you say I'm like
overtly like, whoa, holy smackaroons.
Yeah, so like if you saw me administering the bags, would you say, oh,
I would go,
Bo? Yeah. Would you say
well,
that
you're
IV
making the bags.
Yeah.
Maybe the people making the bags are like, they're hanging dong.
Yeah. Maybe they're hung.
Maybe the people making the bags are hung.
Well hung.
But the people are giving me them,
Meh.
I could take it or leave it. And again, whatever you think is attractive, it doesn't. I'm not trying to make commentary on it, but they're very overtly attractive. Like without question, whether you were sexually or whatever attracted to them, you'd look at them and be like, yeah, that's like somebody found them like they're just like very outwardly that way. And I thought it was weird.
There are places that there was a place I used to work that did that, where they only hired like attractive people. Wish I was lying.
What?
The restaurant I worked at, not the fast food restaurant, but the like restaurant
to work like as
a server.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I feel like I can.
I feel like I've told you that before, but
maybe.
They told us that they're like, oh yeah, we don't hire like anyone that like this person doesn't find attractive.
Jesus.
Yeah, and I'm like, wow, that's fucked up.
Right. But that's the way I would run my business too.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. That's insane. That's weird. But so that kind of came across my radar. Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't really know where that went. We're gonna have to find that later.
He ran away. He ran away. Listen.
That critter. That little goddamn critter. Where did he go? He's out of here. He flew in and then ran out. But yeah, that came across my radar around that time. And Gavin and I had some discussions, whether it was on the podcast or off. I can't remember. But it's finally coming out there that
about time
that this is like bad shit, which is something I feel like you and I have known all along, and had been like turning an eye, like, you know, kind of being like, what the
give it a second
is
look.
This cannot be good. So NBC wrote this article very well in depth. They went over a bunch of different stories and went over it. And the title of the article is "Warnings Grow About Risky IV Drips and Injections at Unregulated Med Spas." So I'll let Gavin kind of take it away and kind of give an overview of it and give his kind of insights. Because in case you don't know, Gavin is a pharmacy student and currently working in pharmacy and has made IV bags.
I make that's exclusively where I work right now. So I've not done anything else. Right.
So I wouldn't say this is like an expert.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I'm an experience.
Yeah.
In the field. So they briefly touched on this. Now, so basically, my understanding is that this story is that someone visited a med spa.
And what is a med spa like?
It's basically like where people can get Botox injections and get like let's see, like they had like vitamin C injections, and this person was also getting like fat, dissolving injections.
Yeah.
There is something that's kind of just like fucked about that, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the same thing could be said about like Ozempic and stuff. But
yeah, but
this is a little bit different.
Works.
Yeah, this is a little bit different. But basically, she was keen on getting injections. This person was keen on getting injections of vitamins B12 and C, as well as a compound called deoxycholic acid that was supposed to melt fat away, which is not FDA approved. They address that in this article. But within 24 hours of getting all these injections, she said she was injected more than 100 times in her arm, stomach, and lower back with the combination of vitamins and fat melting ingredients. Within 24 hours, she felt dizzy and feverish. Each injection site, she said, was painful and oozed with pus. Anything touching my skin was excruciating. My entire body felt like it was on fire. It's a $15 billion industry. $15 industry. Huge.
That's massive.
The thing about this is that the wellness industry offers a variety of services from IV therapy to skincare and cosmetic procedures. I think one of my friends works at one of these med spas, but it is like a certified like good place because like they have like an actual like nurse practitioner that works there and a co-signing doctor. So it's not as
better. My personal opinion on that is I still think it's not a great place to go to get your fix.
No, and I don't know. In my opinion, I would say like you should probably just go to a doctor if you want to talk to them about it and see like whether it would be good for you to have that.
Yeah.
And it seems very unregulated. But there's pictures that they put up here,
which I will not show.
Yeah, these are they're not
those.
awful, but like this
bad.
would be pretty sucky to have all over your body.
Looks like a bad rash.
Yeah. So the testing later found that the person, Amma, had been infected with an aggressive bacterium called Mycobacterium abscessus, which is found in water, soil, and dust. And my note on that is that tuberculosis is a type of Mycobacterium as well.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So it's very so if I had to guess, she was probably given, or she probably didn't know what it was, and they were probably giving her a whole bunch of like antibacterials, some super broad spectrum antibiotics. Like we're talking like ampicillin, sulbactam, or unicin. We're talking, ceftriaxone. We're talking like some big IV injections that she is getting of antibiotics, and they were not working.
And I believe it might have said it somewhere in here, and I could be wrong, that they said that another possibility is that they just didn't clean the area. So the fact that it says that it was found in water, soil, and dust should be enough to say that this place was not disinfecting. The needles weren't kept in a safe place, and whenever they would uncap the vials, they wouldn't wipe it down with alcohol, and they wouldn't wipe down the injection site with alcohol. Yeah. So, but yeah, it also takes a long time for Mycobacterium to like culture. It takes a very long time. It can take up to like 6 weeks for them to figure out what it is. So they were probably just giving her whatever like they thought would work, and it wasn't working. And then they switched over to probably something like rifampin. I know for sure is like rifampin is one thing I know for sure covers Mycobacterium because they use that to treat tuberculosis. But she wasn't having tuberculosis. But it is a type of Mycobacterium, and very difficult to treat if you don't know anything about it. It's just a very difficult bacteria to treat. Not something that's commonly found either. It's not like strep. Or staph. Right. You would think that it would be, because if they weren't wiping down her skin or wiping down the vial, it's very possible that she worked somewhere or whatever that had at least methicillin resistant Staphylococcus aureus or MRSA. You would think that would also be injected into her because they weren't wiping down the injection sites or the vial. Right. But if I had to guess, that's probably what happened here. But insane. I would say it's probably not a very common thing that they saw. And I believe that it said
this was in LA County.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it, but I feel like they said that this led to her like getting some sort of infection that like would fight off like antibiotics or something.
Yeah,
I read. And
it says that the treatments are difficult. It was so severe that she had to be hospitalized, and the doctor said that the treatments are difficult because there are not a lot of great choices to treat this class of bacteria. And she was getting worse and ultimately was on 5 antibiotics.
Yeah. And still like is on something to this day. And this was 2 years ago.
Yeah. Which is totally fucked. On top of that, the the Food and Drug Administration on the federal level warned last month about reports that consumers developed severe infections and skin deformities after they got unauthorized shots touted to dissolve fat at med spas across the country. Excuse me.
The country.
The country. Those shots, which are unapproved, are sold online under the names Aqualix, Lipodissolve, Lipolab, and Cabeline. Some consumers receive the injections at clinics or med spas by personnel who might not have been properly licensed to give the injections, the FDA said in its warnings. The only approved product meant to break down fat under the skin is a drug called Kybella, which is typically injected underneath the chin to get rid of a double chin.
Yeah.
And one of the doctors they interviewed for this said that they also have been treating a growing number of people with bad reactions after visits to med spas or hydration clinics. Mm-hmm. There's also no federal health regulations or standard operating procedures for med spas.
Yeah, it's like towards the end they say that like because they talk to one of like the higher ups at like the med spa. I forgot what it's called, but we'll read it in a minute. But they're trying to get
American
better at
Med
having
Spa Association.
Yeah, they're trying to get better at having like an actual nurse or an actual doctor or whatever that is in-house, or I think they're all supposed to, but like they've like that hasn't been proven.
And it's not like regulated either.
Right. It's not
There's no law saying like, oh, there has to be a doctor there.
Right.
But yeah, you do, at least in pharmacy, if you're going to give vaccinations or any type of injections, you have to have like a intent to vaccinate.
Yeah.
Like sent to the government.
Yeah.
So like, in my opinion, I think that they should have something similar to that nature.
Absolutely.
To like nurse or nursing students or people who are working at these med spas that are going to be delivering injections should be trained by someone who was officially trained, and then also send something saying, hey, I am injecting people with things.
Right. I mean, I just think they shouldn't have them all together.
No, but
personally,
I don't think that would. I don't think they'd ever like outlaw it.
Right.
Because it is just kind of like something that you could theoretically find over the counter in a pill form.
Right.
So,
Exactly. Did you read the part about this?
Yeah, I was getting there.
Okay. Sorry. I didn't interrupt.
Then at another med spa in Texas, it's unclear what therapy this patient was for there that day, but her family believes she had sought vitamin injections. At around 11:30 a.m., the patient said that she was having trouble breathing. This is a different patient entirely.
Yeah.
The patient was having difficulty breathing during the treatment, and that her chest felt tight, according to attorneys for the Lux Med Spa. Documents from the Texas Medical Board show that the patient passed out and was taken to a hospital where she arrived at 12:17 p.m. And despite efforts to revive her with CPR, Cleveland was dead less than 10 minutes later that day. Doctors said she had suffered a cardiac arrest, which occurs when an irregular heart rhythm causes a heart to stop. An autopsy, which was reviewed by NBC affiliate KCEN in Waco, Texas, could not determine that the IV therapy caused Cleveland's death. An investigation by the Texas Medical Board shows that the solution Cleveland received intravenously included total parenteral nutrition, or TPN, which is a potent, concentrated mix of electrolytes that doctors use to feed patients who are typically and physically unable to consume adequate nutrition on their own.
Now I'm sure this is something you've made.
We make those every single day.
Yeah.
So one of the doctors of Baylor College of Medicine, Bissett McCain, was quote unquote surprised to hear any med spa would administer TPN, as it's a mixture that must be carefully matched to each patient's medical needs and almost always in hospital settings to avoid overdoses or of electrolytes. So here's my take on that.
Mm-hmm.
They do have pre-made TPN bags that they deliver to patients in the hospital if the hospital does not have a TPN compounder on site.
And what is a TPN compounder?
It basically just pours those specific ingredients with specific measurements into a big bag.
Okay.
Like this said, I mean, they have a nutritionist or a dietitian customize like electrolyte for electrolyte, no joke, what this patient needs.
Wow.
Based off of the labs that they drew earlier in the day.
And this is like a series.
This is someone who is like in the ICU. This is someone who like is in a vegetative state. This is someone who does not understand that they need to eat during the day. This is someone that is not all there.
Yeah.
And or not heading in a good direction. Mm-hmm. Now I've seen people get off of it. So
right.
It's just something that it's meant to deliver, nutrition to this person while they're not in a state that they can eat normal food.
Yeah.
And typically you don't really want to be put on it.
Right.
So that's why I find this very odd.
How would they even get access to getting?
That's the other thing is I'm very, very confused. But if I had to guess, they probably gave her one of the pre-made bags. That is just typical, like, okay, here's what they probably need. Here's just a normal, kind of like low doses of everything, but enough to get them the nutrition they need until you get it sufficiently
But they can
date.
get that at whatever their med supplier person is. Because I guess they're getting everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. So if this is just speculation on my part. But,
of course.
This is not truth in any part.
Yeah.
But if I had to guess, the fact that this irregular heart rhythm started, in a bag of total parenteral nutrition that is typically given, we do give them potassium. And potassium in large concentrated doses, such as the ones that, I'm not saying super large. It's not that much, but maybe she already had a high potassium. Maybe she was on different medications that were causing her to have a high potassium. Anything above a serum level of 7 can cause irregular, or actually more above 6, can cause irregular heart rhythm. So, and they do have drugs that can help treat, hyperkalemia or high potassium.
Yeah.
But the interesting part about that is they also give calcium gluconate, which is also usually in a TPN bag that we deliver at least. I'm not sure if it's usually in a standard bag or whatever, but they use that to kind of stabilize a heart rhythm.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's a give and take too.
Yeah.
But it's also very possible that, it wasn't mixed correctly. The standards weren't there. The bags that they were using to pump those bags were expired, or, they weren't wiped down, or there's numerous things that could have happened in the process of giving this. It's also very possible that one of these, depending on the concentration and what kind of line she was taking, if I had to guess, it was probably just in her vein, right?
Yeah.
Usually these TPNs are also given through a central line, so it's a line that gets put in by interventional radiology that puts in a line into their arm all the way up to their chest, and has a line, a central line that allows better, easier access to administered drugs, which is usually how a TPN is administered. So
wow,
it's pretty serious.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
And that's why this doctor is also it's very odd to see that this would happen, because that's not usually how it's given. It's
right,
just
especially
IV.
just for because I forgot what they said she just went in for, but it was just I'm trying to remember what it was. Yeah,
vitamin injections.
Yeah, just a vitamin injection for whatever reason.
And it's a little bit different than if she were getting lactated ringers. I think that's probably a way safer option. It's basically just fluids that you would need.
And so that's what I was going to ask is...
It's not that.
Is that what you think? So whenever I saw those people...
Yeah, those were people who were getting lactated ringers almost for certain.
Which is just
a phosphates,
standard...
potassium.
And that's just a standard IV.
Yeah. That's just
when you go to the hospital.
Yeah, it's not saline and it's not a dextrose drip, but it's saline, dextrose, and it's got potassium and phosphates and stuff in it.
Just for a cure a hangover kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they make those by the millions probably a day at some of these places. So it's not something that I would make. It's something that's already pre-made.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
It's just so simple, and there's no you don't have to figure out the specifics of it as this TPN.
Yeah, TPN is very specific.
That's crazy.
to the fucking milli equivalent.
Yeah.
Not that anyone really knows what that is, but
right.
basically the concentration of it to the concentration of the dose. They get that down. She may have also been given too much fat, or who knows? Because it is supposed to be given after you get drawn labs.
Right.
And you can't get your labs within an hour.
Right. No.
Like
no.
that would be that would she basically just got that for no reason.
Yeah.
But it's basically there was no physician present at the Lux Med Spa that this person went to.
Yep.
And there's no criminal liability that can or should be attributed to hold on. Who would that be to? Oh, it's by this person named Amber Johnson. Is the Lux Med Spa by Amber Johnson, and it says that it's regretful that this incident happened, but there's simply no criminal liability that can or should be attributed to Amber Johnson.
How?
I have no idea.
How is that even possible? They signed
But
off on
the
it, I
Texas
guess?
Medical Board suspended the establishment's medical director's license for a failure to properly supervise an unlicensed individual performing IV treatments.
Yeah.
That resulted in death.
Yeah. Which is good.
Yeah, that's the way it should
that
be.
they stepped in.
But they said that the ways to stay safe at these med spas is to ask, and I would say just straight up, just don't go.
Yeah.
But if you are concerned about the operation they may be running, especially, and I'm not kidding, this is my official like pharmacist recommendation here.
Okay.
Do not try to get any counterfeit Ozempic or semaglutide or liraglutide or don't get any counterfeit.
From your doctor.
Get that from your doctor, and not only that, but it's not recommended yet. It's not FDA approved and you won't get it. You won't get it from your pharmacy for for like obesity. It's not being used, or weight loss or obesity. It's not being used for that yet.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of off-label uses for it, but it's not FDA approved, and the pharmacist will most likely not give it to you unless you have a proven type 2 diabetes mellitus diagnosis.
I didn't know that.
That is 100, because the insurance companies are also in on that too. They know that people are trying to get it for their weight loss.
Yeah.
And they have to have a diagnosed code that is sent to the insurance company whenever it's billed that says that they have a confirmed type 2 diabetes mellitus
That's good.
diagnosis.
Yeah.
So do not try and get this drug do not try and get any weight loss drugs from any place other than a pharmacy with a proper diagnosis.
Yeah.
You will get caught, and you will get caught for insurance fraud. So just want to let you know they're in on it. They know.
Good.
But that is like my official thing. But definitely get that from your doctor and a pharmacist.
Yeah.
But they said to ask, and it may be uncomfortable. They even said that. Who owns and operates the med spa? Who is administering my treatment? And what credentials does that person have? Is a licensed medical practitioner on site in case there are complications?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think I wouldn't be surprised if this happens, but there are we do have like actual infusion places on our hospital's campus, but most hospital places have at least an infusion center where patients can come outpatient as patients out in the world.
Yeah.
To come and get their injections once weekly or whatever. Especially if it's like a medically necessary treatment, not for your vitamin C or whatever, but like if you're low on iron or you're coming in for your Crohn's disease or chemo, something like that. Like they have those centers there, and they do have a nurse that's there, and they do usually administer. They usually give you like a steroid shot with it, and they also give you like antihistamines to make sure you're not having injection site reactions.
Yeah. If you medically need any of these things, go to a hospital, go to a doctor.
Yeah, for sure.
If you just want vitamin C, eat a fucking orange.
Or
like get it, or take
a multivitamin.
Capsules, take a multivitamin. There's much easier ways than having putting your life literally at risk, or your health literally at risk.
Even as a student, it's very difficult to kind of recommend a supplement like that because it is a dietary thing.
Yeah.
So if I were a dietitian or a nutritionist, then I would feel comfortable recommending something like that to you.
Right.
But like me personally as a student and also a future pharmacist within a year and a half, it's some of the quality control because it's not regulated by the FDA, it is a dietary supplement.
Yeah.
That's why it's called supplements. It's not a medical treatment. And that's why they're available over the counter, is that they're not the same for every single manufacturer. And also that you might get a more concentrated dose of said supplement that you want.
Right.
Or you might get too much I know some of these multivitamins have too much iron in them for some reason. They just have a lot of iron in them, but like, you know, that kind of thing is like, it's very different between manufacturers and that kind of thing. But generally, I could probably recommend a multivitamin. Yeah. Generally.
Yeah. One that's for your age range and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, anything else to?
No, I think
that's it.
That's really it. But I also said this will probably be more common in the coming years, as more people are seeing. Then there already are different treatments for weight loss and stuff like that. They're being FDA approved. Like Mounjaro is definitely one that's coming out.
What's that?
Basically, it's another Ozempic type drug.
Okay. Oh yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Because it's I read up something about it. Okay. Yeah. The fat burning thing, I know is definitely popular. I mean, there's been fat burning things that have been going on forever.
But now they have like real drugs for it.
Right. But the one, and that's like a whole different thing. And I'm definitely glad we covered it because it is something I had no idea these med spas were doing.
I literally saw driving out of the Chipotle parking lot over here. They literally were like looking for semaglutide. $10 semaglutide.
Where did you
here.
see that at?
On like a sign that someone put on the drive-through out.
Oh shit! Really?
Like on the main road, yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah,
I probably would have just saw that and been like, what?
Yeah. Ooh. Gross.
Oh, man, that's sad. Yeah, I mean that's really bad, and I didn't know that stuff was going on. I knew more about the IV thing because it's just become such a popular thing, and I don't know
You could drink
why.
a Gatorade, and you could drink. I would almost recommend.
Why has that become so popular?
If someone is like that hungover, right? Drink a Pedialyte. Please drink a Pedialyte or like a Gatorade electrolyte one, which still has a shitload of sugar.
Right.
And same thing with Prime. Prime also has a shitload of sugar. But yeah, like Pedialyte I know for sure is just basically what someone would need as far as it goes for electrolytes.
I just can't figure out why
someone
it's
who has been eating
cool
regularly.
Thing. Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Cool. What's cool about it?
And what makes it hip? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just don't understand it.
It's odd. It's very off-putting for me because it's like there is, and I don't mean to like toot my own horn, but there is kind of an art towards sterile compounding.
Of course. That's why you guys go to fucking school.
Like there's an art to it.
There's
the U.S. Pharmacopoeia.
Yeah.
They literally tell the pharmacies how they're supposed to have their pharmacies regulated, and like how they should be sterile compounding for like the best patient outcomes.
Yeah. Yeah. This isn't a fucking.
It's not a joke.
Fun thing to do with your friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hated that.
Yeah.
I hated that. This is the thing that I've been like legit.
Like nurses go to school for a long time also because they need to figure out how to put in a line correctly.
Right.
Or at least find a vein or put in a needle correctly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. It's weird. It's a weird thing that I don't get, and I really hope becomes unpopular very soon. And I'm glad stuff like this is coming out because this is the first time I'm seeing something.
You're going to see a lot more stuff saying like, oh, I went to one of these places and I got a bad injection site reaction.
Yeah.
That it's going to be...
I'm sure there's a lot more out there.
And they probably will start having you sign waivers if they don't already.
Yeah.
Have you sign waivers. Make sure you read the entirety of that waiver.
Right. Right.
And then you can be like, no, I don't feel comfortable doing that. And they're like, all right, well, we'll see you later.
Yeah. And I think this is going back a little bit here for just a second. I think it's funny because definitely read the full article, but they interviewed the what did we say it was? Where did I even find that at? You were reading some of it. So this Alex Thursch is how I'm going to pronounce it, who's the chief executive of the American Med Spa Association. They asked him some questions and his answers were very bizarre. He was like, this is something he said, there are states who simply don't have the resources or the time to be looking at the medical spas and ensuring that they're doing things correctly, which is very bizarre. And he said there's a bit of an underbelly to this industry where you've got folks who should not be doing the treatment that they're doing, which is like very weird that he's like speaking so outwardly against his own thing that he's supposed to be like a part of like governing and regulating in a sense. And I think it's so funny because it's like it's obviously such a new industry, because if this was like someone in the pharmacy, the big pharma industry, they would be like, either don't say shit or be very vague.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's like very obvious that he's just like saying shit that people.
It's
sure people
very-
are pissed that he said this stuff.
It's very in the like the FDA did want to regulate dietary supplements,
Yeah.
but it's very much in that dietary supplement
Right.
type of like
Yeah.
field
Right.
where it's like no one's really sure.
Yeah.
What-
Like even
what-
this guy's not
yeah.
even sure.
No.
He's like, they're not doing things right.
Yeah.
It's like, wait,
So
aren't you
then-
a part of like?
So
shouldn't
then
you
don't
be
let that happen.
Right. Don't let it fucking happen. Why are you being like, yeah, I don't know. This shit just kind of happens.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. Because at first I was like, oh, well, that's good that he's saying that, but also it's like, wait, no, it's not.
No.
That's bad that he's saying that. That's completely against. Like, cause at first I was just like, oh, I'm glad that he's like, realizes that there's bad stuff going on, but also he's just like, yeah, I mean, this shit's just gonna happen, And it's like, there's things that you guys are supposed to be
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah. Exactly.
You're the governing body of this new world
I think
of
it's-
med spas.
Yeah. And I think they don't want to be regulated.
No, of course not. Of course they don't. Yeah. I mean, it's just like in every industry, the vaping industry. I mean, you
Yeah.
name it.
No,
None
you're
of
right.
them want to be regulated because right now they're at their peak,
Yeah.
and it's all
Va-
going
that was
down
vaping in
from here.
2017.
Exactly. They were at their peak, and it's just going to go down because it's not healthy.
Yeah.
What they're doing, but yet for whatever reason, they're making
More
good money
stories
off
like this
it.
will for sure come out.
Yeah, and
This is not the first one I've seen.
yeah,
either,
and
so.
I hope it gets regulated more. Glad we talked about it though, and I'm glad that I saw that. Definitely go give that a read on NBC. I thought it was a very interesting read, for sure.
And I did read a story from LA
Yeah.
Times on a related note
Mhm.
of American tourists going to Mexico for drugs,
Yeah,
for drugs that are typically given by prescription order,
right.
um,
Much easier
over the
to get.
counter. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
get them over the counter, and they pull out these tackle boxes with unmarked drugs, and then just are like, "Yep,
Yeah.
this is Adderall."
I've
and
heard,
it's actually
I've
just
heard that.
meth.
I have heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard people talking about that.
And
They're
like
just
the
you can buy
government,
whatever.
like it's funny because the people who own those pharmacies are like, well, it's not us, it's the labs. And it's like, okay, well, who are the labs you're talking to?
What the fuck?
Yeah.
It's the
Very-
labs.
Like the labs who are making the drugs.
Yeah.
Like, well, it's
right.
not us. It's not our fault.
Right.
Or like, they're like, it's not us. It's a guy who owns the business that's giving us these drugs that says
Right.
that he gets these from a lab.
What a mess.
Yeah. So it's very
That's
odd.
crazy.
I think it's very difficult to be stepping into this pharmacy world at this day and age.
Yeah, for sure. But good to have good people like you.
Yeah.
You on board.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for giving your knowledgeable opinion
Yeah.
about all of that as much as you could. I appreciate that.
Educated.
Opinion on that. And another thing I would love your educated opinion on is some tech news.
Oh yeah.
Hit it.
Gavin's Techno World. Gavin's Techno World. Gavin's Techno World. This is Gavin's Techno World. Gavin's Techno World.
Thought about killing myself.
Techno World. Techno World.
And I don't mind having a dick on my ass.
So you may have heard that the Apple Watch has been banned in the United States due to they were banned from selling and importing both watches, which are the Apple Watch Series 9, it was like the Apple Watch Series 9 and the Apple Watch Ultra 2, and importing both watches due to a patent dispute with the medical device maker Masimo. The U.S. International Trade Commission found that Apple had infringed Masimo's patents and ordered the U.S. sales ban as a result. While in its place, other retailers can continue selling through their existing Apple Watch stock, but Apple is prohibited from selling its own or bringing new watches into the country.
No, this is not Massimo, the Target brand. M-O-S.
No, this is Massimo.
With an A.
Yeah, Massimo.
Okay.
Massimo. So Apple has won a temporary pause of the Apple Watch ban that went into effect on last Tuesday. So it will resume sales in the Apple stores starting Wednesday, December 28th.
That is new news. I didn't know.
So they're back
Okay. For now.
for now. A
Yeah.
federal appeals court ordered a halt on the import and sales ban today after Apple halt. Yeah, it's very double negative here.
Ugh.
But a federal appeals court ordered a halt on the import and sales bans today after Apple requested. This was like last week, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, December 27th, so last week. Which was last Tuesday, right? Am I crazy?
Am I crazy?
Month.
No, it wasn't last Tuesday.
It was last Wednesday.
Yeah,
last Wednesday.
A week ago.
A federal after this was all after Apple requested that they be paused at least until U.S. Customs can determine if changes it's making to the Apple Watch would be enough to avoid the patent dispute that led to the ban. And Customs is expected to issue its decision on January 12th. So we'll see January 12th if the actual Apple Watch ban will go into effect.
I see.
But
and what did you? Yeah, sorry.
Basically, the only thing that they were disputing over was the oxygen sensor, the O2 sensor in the Apple Watch, which allows you to check your O2 saturation in your blood through your skin.
Yeah,
that was it.
Which is crazy that's just that one thing.
And
it's their patent, you know.
I know,
Shit.
and it's also
Fuck
this is also kind of like a legal gray area. Also, is because it's not technically a medical device, but I think Massimo has it is a medical device O2 sensor. It's like the stuff that they put at the end of your finger.
Yeah,
that's basically
the one
it.
That they, clip on there.
Yeah. So
I mean, I think that's.
I don't think anyone should regularly be. I mean, like, there's no reason to be unless you're like sick.
Right.
To be checking your O2 sat?
No. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's just, I don't see why Apple can't just like
not put it in there.
Well, and no, just settle it with them. Be like, you're right.
We copied you.
Here's your payout. Let's
or at least give like a portion and this is what a judge should order.
Yeah.
Is just order a portion of their sales be given to Massimo.
Yeah, but Apple won't.
No.
They would.
Because that's the whole reason why Epic didn't settle.
Right. Yeah, and I could see the same thing happening, and all I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I'm take down Apple with that shit.
I mean, they're a $1 trillion company, so
yeah, they don't need it. They don't need any more money.
But yeah, so basically, it is paused for right now.
Okay.
So you can buy an Apple Watch in the Apple Store again.
Buy them up, guys. You're gonna need those O2 sensors. They're gonna be very important.
They're gonna be very important whenever you want to go read your O2 sat.
Have you seen if they're now? Obviously, now that it's unpaused, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you before that happened? Did you check resale market just to see if?
Oh no, I hadn't. No.
I was just curious. I mean, because what you were telling me before is that you thought they would probably just come out with a version without it or with a different version or something. So it wouldn't be too much of a change. But
you could still buy them at Best Buy, Target, Walmart.
That's true. So other retailers still. I just wondered, like, because anytime, even if it's a little change, it's still like a specific version that's going to be limited.
Yeah.
I just wondered if there was going to be a markup on that or a resale.
There probably is.
Markup.
There probably was for a little bit.
Because if that goes through, it'll be a while before they come out with a new version, unless they're already working on it, which wouldn't surprise me.
So yeah.
But anyways, I digress. Gavin's Techno World.
Gavin's Techno World. Gavin's Techno World. This is Gavin's Techno World.
At my wedding. At my wedding. A baked bean salad. I'm going to have a baked bean salad.
Let's move on. Let's talk about some new laws for 2024.
I didn't even see this.
Oh, good.
Carson's been hanging out on the NBC.
I love NBC. Been hanging out on NBC. No, for whatever reason, these both just came along my feed, my news feed, my news feed I frequent every day. And I have a feeling we might have done this last year at the beginning of the year. I could be wrong.
No, I don't remember this at all.
Really? Okay, so there's obviously new laws that go into effect every year, and
this is crazy.
I thought it would be fun to do a little. Let's check in new laws alert. Let's see what's new for this year. So
marijuana is legal.
And marijuana is legal everywhere, no matter where you go.
Steamboat,
on airplanes.
Mickey Mouse at Steamboat Willie is public domain.
You can make them suck a cock on a T-shirt.
Yep,
all you
they
want,
already have. I was going to put this in the clips, but they already have a trailer out for a Steamboat Willie horror movie.
I did see that.
Yeah.
I did hear about that.
Yeah.
But there are new laws. We're gonna watch this video about it, and then there's a few that they didn't
Peter
mention.
Pan is in the public domain now too.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't anybody talk about that? A video to watch about new laws, and then there's some that are written below that aren't covered in this video, but you can watch it along with us. I guess I'll show this. Okay, the Peacock is loading up. It's probably gonna get an ad, honestly.
Peacock.
With the new year comes new laws for several states
move your
across
liquid
the
death?
country, from protecting election workers to
Sponsor.
gender-neutral toys. NBC News Justice and Intelligence correspondent Ken Delanian is taking a closer look at some of the major changes for the new year.
Hey, good morning. From the meaningful to the
good morning.
mundane, new laws are taking effect in every state. Here are some of the measures drawing attention as 2024 gets underway. After threats drove away half the state's top election officials, Nevada took action. Starting January 1st, those who harass, intimidate, or harm election workers performing their duties in the state could face up to 4 years in prison
Can you pause
under a
it?
new law that unanimously passed the state
Yeah,
legislature.
I wanted to wait till the
Oh,
end
you're
because
good,
it's
you're
gonna be
good.
a pain in the
Yeah,
ass.
no, you're good. No,
realize either that 80% of our election workers are women. Those are our daughters, those are our wives, those are our sisters, those are our mothers.
A campaign promised by Secretary of State Francisco Aguilar, the law makes Nevada one of a handful of states where threats to election workers are a felony.
We cannot run elections without people. They are our unsung heroes of democracy.
In Tennessee, a new law toughens penalties for distracted driving. Those under 18 cited for a second offense could see their license suspended. The measure is named for a local businessman who died in a 2020 accident.
If it's just one life we save a year by this law, then my dad would have been an honor to have it in his name.
California is requiring stores with more than 500 employees in the state to offer gender-neutral toy sections. Failure to comply could result in fines.
Why would it be such that a dinosaur or a truck or a periodic table would be in the boys section, or glitter or paint would be in the girls section? Let's just fundamentally allow kids to be kids.
You've seen all the criticism of this. One newspaper called it California's latest woke insanity. How do you respond to that?
This bill was inspired by private sector, following that of major retailers. Target and so many others are already going in this direction. This is a manufactured controversy in saying that it is potentially a woke government.
In Louisiana, the state legislature overrode the governor's veto of a bill banning gender-affirming care for transgendered minors. The bill prohibits doctors from prescribing puberty blockers and hormone treatments. Critics say the new law won't survive a court challenge.
It is my sincere belief that this bill is unconstitutional. I believe the courts will declare that in due course.
Pennsylvania toughened penalties for drivers who failed to stop for flashing red lights on school buses. And Michigan is allowing 16-year-olds to pre-register to vote.
Our thanks to Ken Delanian for that report. The Brennan Center.
Yeah, so that's a new one. Just a few more that I didn't remember hearing in the video. Illinois did an anti-book ban. Illinois will become the first state to enforce a law to outlaw book bans.
So ban of bans.
Yeah, the ban of bans. Black Belly, ban of bans.
Yeah, there you go.
New York cracks down on puppy mills. New York State will ban pet stores from selling dogs, cats, and rabbits. I was kidding. What if it ended there?
Yeah.
Rabbits this year to protect. Wait, maybe that is what it is. Hold on, let me read this. New York
for
State
a puppy, for like mills.
Right. New York State will ban pet stores, Pet Boys, from selling dogs, cats, and rabbits this year to protect the animals from poor treatment and conditions in some commercial breeding operations that critics call puppy mills, obviously, which is great. Michigan's legislature passed a package of legislation to reduce gun violence that is set to go into effect early this year. The package passed in the Democratic-controlled legislature, largely along party lines, includes red flags, stricter background checks, safe gun storage requirements, and a ban on those convicted of domestic violence
That's
from
good.
bullying, owning, or transporting firearms for up to 8 years.
Well, for 8 years.
Right. That's good for 8 years. 4 more states will begin requiring financial literacy courses in high schools in 2024. Georgia, Indiana, Minnesota, and West Virginia. That sounds good to me. I wish I would have fucking had that instead of some old-ass idiot not even teaching us shit about it. Sorry. Little rant there.
No, you're right.
The FDA decision in July to approve the first non-prescription oral contraceptive is expected to allow access to birth control to expand widely in 2024 once a new drug, Opal, hits shelves. Did you know anything about that?
Not really, but I have heard about that.
And that's it. Those are the ones that were not in the video. I have opinions on a bunch of this, but I'm going to put the question to you. What are any opinions on any of those things specifically?
The Nevada one about the poll workers. It's very odd that there wasn't anything already in place.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
I guess they didn't think they would need it.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I mean, but there's been. I
mean, 2000.
Yeah, right.
I was literally like less than a year old, but like.
Yeah, I remember hearing about it.
But yeah, like that. It seems like that should have been something that would have been in place for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it is already in place in other states, but maybe Nevada was one of the last ones to.
Yeah, that could be true too.
Adopt to it, but you would think Arizona would do it.
Yeah.
Next, that should have been like on the top of their priority list.
You would think so,
but I doubt they get anything done in Arizona at this point.
No shot. Nothing with that. The states just want to make. Some states are making it harder to vote, and some of them are making it easier. The Michigan one too, pre-registering when you're 16. What does that mean?
Basically,
what does that even mean?
Basically, I think that's just to encourage young people to vote, for one, and two, basically, it's just saying like, hey, whenever you turn 18, we won't have like you will automatically just be able to walk into a ballot box and be able to vote.
That's true.
Without having to like figure out, oh, am I registered, or
right.
Oh, I didn't get my card mailed to me, or oh, is there going to be a card, or
I guess that makes sense, but I think
I mean, like most people do. Most, especially young people, aren't registered to vote. So it's like it's just basically like selective service where you'll probably just be automatically signed up to vote whenever you turn 18, which I think should be a thing already. Like I think that would probably be the most radical idea to have in this day and age, is to just automatically sign up everybody under over the age of 18 to sign up to vote.
You should just be able to walk in, show your ID, and
that's it. Not even showing ID, just walk in.
Yeah, I think you should have to show your ID. I mean, you have to be
homeless people. Hello.
Age. Well, yeah, and that's true. There's got to be different things for them, of course.
Yeah,
and I do mean that. The one that. So a lot of these, like that Michigan one, where I'm just like, sure, it's just like, why not? Why wasn't that already a thing, like you said? The one that I was like, really. I just kind of, I kind of gave a little bit of a grimace to, and don't freak out just yet. The toy one.
So my opinion on that is that, there are boys and girls toys, but
for sure,
I think having the option of, because I think there are probably more toys nowadays, kind of falling into the general neutral,
absolutely,
especially like Lego and stuff.
I think there has been for a long time. It's just that there was never a distinction between the two.
Yeah, so I think they very much had boys and girls aisles. I remember growing up.
For sure.
And it's still very prevalent.
Yeah.
That they were there, but I think I would anticipate that they're probably just going to have a gender neutral toy aisle.
Yeah.
But like,
just make the whole store like that.
Yeah, it doesn't really.
I just think my thing on it is that I think it's fine. I think it's great.
Yeah.
It doesn't, it's one of those laws where it's just like, it doesn't hurt, so why not?
Mm-hmm.
I do find it a little weird that was like something that somebody thought that they needed to fight for, or like fight to get.
From what it sounded like, like Target, Walmart were
already
anyway,
doing it.
So,
but to like, I think so this is my opinion on it. I think trying to crack down on it and make it a strict thing is, again, like something we mentioned recently, is just, I think you're just, again, you got to pick and choose your battles. And when you do stuff like that, and when people are saying this is, California's new woke agenda thing, I think you're just dividing lines more by like enacting something like that.
Yeah.
Because
Maine also did their, I think, was it Maine?
Yeah.
They did, banned
that's
Trump.
what we were talking about, is the Trump
Maine,
thing.
Maine and Colorado.
And I just think that like, I think it's great and I think it's fine, but it's just like, when you do things like
it's
this,
too consequential,
and you make a big deal of it, it's just, I just see it having more negative than positive consequences.
Yeah, and I think
to an extent.
Yeah, I think as far as it goes with the, at worst case scenario, there's gonna be less bigoted people buying toys.
Sure, yeah, and again, it's like I don't see that being a huge consequence like the Trump thing was.
Yeah, but it feels like it could radicalize someone to be like, well, this has always been a boy's toy.
And I just get whenever something like this happens, I just get worried. I can picture some freak in California going to a toy store that has a gender neutral toy section and shooting the place up.
Yeah.
It's such a fucked up and crazy place out there that whenever things like this happen, even though I think they're great and I'm all supporting of it, when you make a big deal out of it like this, and
you become like a very soft spot for.
You just become like a punching bag.
Yeah.
And if you're already saying
a soft target, that's what I was talking about.
Right, and first of all, what toy stores that aren't Target or Walmart have more than 500 employees?
Yeah,
there aren't any. Toys R Us is gone.
Yeah.
So and if they're already doing it, it's like this is just becoming a thing for NBC to be like, this is crazy, but they're like, we won't call it crazy. Fox News will call it crazy. And your crazy grandpa will be like, you hear what they're doing in California with the toys? Like, I'm sure the next time, and not that I give a fuck, but the next time I bring up to somebody I'm moving to California, I'll be like, oh, you hear about the toy stores? I'm like, what fucking toy store? Tell me a toy store in California that has more than 500 fucking employees. But it's like, there's going to be one that they're like, we're not doing that. And then they're going to get fined. And then it's going to, it's just going to be, I don't know. I don't want to sound like I'm against it, but I just pick. There's a point where you need to pick and choose your battles, and I just don't see this one being the one that like
does it.
No. And great, it passed. Hopefully it's water on the bridge and this doesn't become a big deal. And I hope everything I'm saying is wrong, and I really want to be proven wrong, because obviously I don't want horrible shit to happen. But when stuff like this happens, I get a little worried. I think there are gender neutral things that obviously need to be pushed for, but when you enact consequences against someone not making a gender neutral toy aisle, I think it would probably be a max like $500 fine or something. That's what it was, something very little. But I don't know. Maybe I'm making it a bigger deal than it needs to be. Maybe I think that's true to an extent. I get worried about this kind of stuff.
When you're giving name to something like that, it does make it more of a targeted thing.
Exactly, and that's what it is. It's like, and again, like I said, it was already happening. Just let it happen naturally.
Yeah.
If
they were doing it under the table without a law, no one would have noticed.
And that's the other thing too, is that if they
already had wackos going to Target and shit like that, doing some weird shit.
For sure, with the gay stuff over the summer, I think we talked about that. And the thing is that if a family goes into a toy store and they don't have gender neutral toys, and if that's a big deal to them, which it very well could be, then I think that they'll just make the decision not to go there, and they'll go somewhere that already has it, which, like they said, like Target and stuff like that already has it. So that's where I just find it. I just don't like. They'll let people figure that out on their own. I and I'm not trying to be like the person who's like they're trying to force it down our throats, because I don't think that's the case. Again, I'm just fight for stuff that's strong. Fight for stuff that's more important. That has to do with gender neutral stuff, because there's way more important shit with trans and everything like that should be fought for, not making sure that every toy store has a gender neutral toy aisle. And I get it. Like I remember maybe
it's a small step towards that though.
Yeah, and maybe it's a bigger deal than I even know it is, because I obviously don't go in the toy stores. And I don't have any kids that I shop for where I would have to worry about that. But I do understand, like I remember going, like you were mentioning, going in a toy store and like, dude, I would have, like, if I had to cut down an aisle to go to another one, I would avoid walking down the aisle of girl toys.
Yeah.
Because I was like, for whatever reason, you're just like, well, I don't want anybody seeing me down here. Just like, who the fuck is going to see you down here, you idiot?
Yeah.
Who cares? But like, yeah, I get it. Like, that's why I'm saying, I'm like, just make every toy aisle stark white shelving.
Just make it
toys.
Just make it a toy aisle.
Yeah, just make the whole section toys, and they're just categorized by what kind of toy they are, not by who they belong for.
Mm-hmm.
which sounds like it is already happening. Again, I don't look at toys that often, so I don't know.
Yeah, I guess you would put like I don't think G.I. Joe is out there anymore, but if, like, for example, you have the G.I. Joes right next to the Barbies.
Yeah,
I think that would
figures,
be, that would be
Barbies,
like the aisle.
G.I. Joes. Yeah.
But like action figure aisle, Lego aisle.
Right.
You
right.
know.
Yeah.
Baby
I
doll aisle.
Yeah. Exactly.
Toy section.
Whatever it is. And I think like you maybe
because it almost seems a little bit weird to have it gendered.
Yeah, and that's the thing too is like
it's like taking
don't make it a section. Just have everything
make it a
together.
toy.
Just make it toys.
Yeah.
Because like you said, then you're alienated to one group.
Right. And like I played with my sister's toys.
Dude, my parents bought me Polly Pockets when I was a kid. We've talked about this.
I had Lowe's Pet Shops. We had the Zoobles.
Right. It was just like, who cares?
Yeah. As long as the toy functions as the imaginary box that you can play with.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I hate to make a big deal about it, and I'm not. This will be the last time I talk about it.
Till it comes up.
Until it comes out and somebody puts me on blast for saying this. But yeah, man, fight the bigger battles, please. And again, if this is small, that's true. And if this is the small stepping stone to get there, then I support it. And I support it. Moving on before I get even more canceled. Let's cancel the neighborhood with Nextdoor Drama. In case you don't know what it is, I'll save that for next week. Yeah. That is pretty great, though. I keep forgetting what clip it is, and every time I click on it, I go, oh, yeah,
shit.
That's a good one. Nextdoor Drama, in case you don't know, is a segment we do every week on the show where we go to the infamous Nextdoor blog posting website, which is a website for your blog posting website for your neighborhood, where people in a certain mile radius of where you live can post things that is going on. I've been seeing a lot of Big Bang. Did you hear that loud explosion post recently?
Really?
Like a lot more than usual. And Gavin, I gotta tell you, I haven't heard any loud bangs.
No, me neither.
Have not been hearing, and I live very close to many of these people.
Considering I've been, sleeping most of my days, but
this is not great. Well, you did hear a loud bang this one time. Remember that one time where you heard a loud bang and you're like, "Can you find it? Did you find it on Nextdoor?"
Yeah.
And I did find it, but nobody was really talking about it much. But anyways, that's where we go. We pull a blog and we script it out with the comments because there's always a bunch of comments, and we do a dramatic reenactment of it.
Yeah.
As I already mentioned, this Nextdoor Drama is titled "It's Not Fair to Our Big Dogs." I will be playing Anna. Gavin will be playing Tracy, and they're both dog lovers with different problems. Without saying much else, I'm gonna hit the Nextdoor Drama intro song, and we're gonna crack this puppy wide open.
Nice.
Literally.
Bruh.
This week on Nextdoor Drama.
There are separate small dog sections and big dog sections for a reason, people. Stop bringing your small dogs in with the big dogs, or they're gonna get hurt. And guess who will be to blame? Big dogs. It's not fair to our big dogs.
And I've had problems with big dogs being brought into small side than trying to attack the little guys. Cursing emoji. Mad cursing emoji.
I always tell people that the big dogs go and point in the direction of whatever area they currently go in. If they say they do better with small dogs, I then tell them that one of my small dogs, because I'm so blessed with Scotties to have that kind of attitude with at least one dog that I'm currently housing, doesn't do well with big dogs. Jaw is the size of a GSD with a 25-pound body, bites randomly and doesn't care because they kill badgers in their homeland. Does the trick for me the majority of the time. Cheap the monocle. In the fedora.
Not to sound rude to anyone here, I agree with a lot of you, but the more you complain, the worse. We'll not have one at all. The more people complain about something that it's free, or our taxes pay for it, or whatnot, or we sue, or whatnot, they say take it away. If you guys haven't noticed, they're trying to make St. Charles area more city-like. So be glad we have a park at all. Kindly ask the person who has the wrong sized dog to go to the other side, and if they won't, then just leave. But just remember, anytime you complain or sue about something, the city or the county of that area will just take it away.
Who's watching SpongeBob down that hallway? Oh, man. Holy shit. I was about to spew all of my liquid death out of my mouth because I was hearing the music, and then you read the line, "Will not have one at all." And I almost just spewed it straight out of my mouth. Oh,
that
man.
almost had too much punctuation in it.
It did, yeah. Which is rare. Which is very rare.
Yeah. But they did use the wrong hour. They said hour.
Yeah, they also said, kindly asked the person who has the wrong size dog.
Ah, whatever, man.
Yeah, that's great. It's great stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I mean, you know, those big dogs, they can come and get you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I get it too. I'm definitely. It's like one of those. I love I love when people badly want to have an argument, but they're both on the same side.
Yeah.
But they're just like like this one, like the person who you're playing was trying to argue for the opposite, but it's like at the same time you're arguing for the same thing.
I think
but you just want to argue so bad.
What happens, especially at this dog park, is that there's nobody there, right? And then a big dog goes in where the first entrance the person sees, they go in there, and then the person who goes there all the time is like, oh, this is a small dog side, and they have a big dog over here.
Right.
It's
I
like,
can
okay,
do that
well
too.
then it's like, okay, well then go up to that person and then tell them, hey, this is the small dog area. Can you go to the big dog area?
Yeah.
It'd be that easy, and then they call up, Spot, come on.
Right.
Let's go to this side.
Come on, Scooter. Yeah.
And they'd sniff each other's butts, and then they, go about their day.
Right.
The humans sniff each other's butts.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah,
I mean,
of
we do
course.
it all the time.
Yeah. Sorry, I haven't posted this week's What You Listen To, but that's my fault.
No, that's okay. We got it's a big one, so I know it'll take a minute to get that.
Yeah, so
those top 5.
it is a lot of
just
formatting. Really, it's really just formatting.
Yeah, I mean, it won't take that long.
It won't take that long.
You can just
right.
Speaking of, our next segment is What You Listening To. It's where Gavin and I recommend a song, album, or artist that we've been listening to in the past week to each other and to the audience. Kevin, what are you listening to this week?
I don't know.
This first week
well,
of
to
the
be
new
completely
year.
honest with you, this is actually a first for me. I've been listening to a couple podcasts pretty religiously.
Whoa, Gavin's breaking the format. I like it.
I am, but
what have you been?
But I'm going
podcasts?
to be. Yeah. No. Well. Okay. Well, the podcast I listened to this week. There's 2.
Okay.
I listened to Podcast P, which is Paul George's podcast.
Oh. Okay.
NBA player, and he had Gordon Hayward on this past week.
Okay.
And they got drafted in the same draft class. So that's one of the reasons why I was like interested. And there was a couple clips that they showed about what Gordon Hayward's thoughts were on the Boston Celtics.
About his leg snapping in half.
They did talk about that because Paul George had a very similar injury for Team USA. I don't know if you know that, but he like snapped his leg in half.
I don't know if I know.
Like for, I think it was, yeah. Or maybe I'm confusing him with Sean Livingston, but he like snapped his leg in half on the on the basketball like base. his leg like snapped at the knee.
Oh.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Pretty horrible to watch. I can show you.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not, I will say the Gordon Hayward one is bad because they have that shot right at fucking his feet, which is just so nuts.
Yep.
But yeah, they
Still
did talk
remember
about
watching that.
Yeah. I remember where I was. I think we were at band practice. I remember it was in band.
I feel like I was at church, like not church, but like a youth group thing.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, because the Kyrie trade happened that summer. We were at band camp, or right at the beginning of band camp, or right at the end of band camp, or right as school started. And then like the following first game of the season, October rolls around. Yeah, so they did talk about that. But yeah, I thought it, and then I've also been listening to Matt Barnes and not Jerry Stackhouse, Steven Jackson's podcast. I forgot what their podcast is called, but it's on Showtime.
It's another sports situation.
It's another sports podcast, but they've had they had Mark Cuban on. I saw a couple clips of that. They've had Big Boy, not the he was like I don't think he ever rapped, but he like said he was a bodyguard and like he hid guns in his fat.
Okay, yeah.
He was a big guy, but now he's kind of like a skinnier guy. I think he was definitely on something, but yeah, I think I did wear my headphones, however, so I did listen to some things.
Okay. I mean, that could be what you listen to too.
I mean, I think
format. I'm cool with that.
You know what? This week I'm not too happy about it, but I'm listening to Chelsea Dagger by the Fratellis.
I've heard of the Fratellis. I'm sure if I heard it, I would know right away. That sounds a melody.
Chelsea, Chelsea, I believe it when it dances slowly.
I'd have to hear it.
It's a goal song for the Blackhawks, Chicago Blackhawks. So
very specific.
Yeah, but someone was playing the Fratellis. Or we were in the IV room and they were playing like just a mix of stuff and the Fratellis came up like several times. And I'm like, I know these songs. I haven't listened to them forever.
I know them.
Yeah. So.
What are the Fratellis up to now these days?
I think I was actually looking into it. I think they released an album like last year. It's also very possible to listen to it. Or that they released one this past. Yeah, they released an album last year or 2 years ago.
All right.
Yeah. I guess at this point, 3 years ago.
Damn. Damn.
Yeah, 2021 was 3 years ago. Can you believe that? Time.
Gavin, I gotta be honest with you. I'm kind of breaking the format this week too because I have a double deuce recommendation for you because they're both kind of the same thing. But I only wrote one of them down because you don't need to post the other one. It's mostly one album, but I'm recommending them both because they're both so similar. And man, this one shocked the absolute goddamn fuck out of me.
Goddamn piss out of him.
This shocked the piss out of me because up until this, I heard a song off this album. I fucking hated this band.
Really?
I did not.
Did you spell that correctly?
Probably not. I despise this band. And that is the band Architects. Now, you would hear that, and if you know anything about Architects, you would think I would like this band because they're a metalcore-ish band. But they kind of pioneered this like style of metalcore that's like very overproduced and just kind of like a little gimmicky. And
a bit much.
And I've heard that their vocalist isn't a good vocalist. He's even live is using a lot of like help to sing.
So you hate people who like do that?
I hate people who can't sing. And I can never every time their stuff would come on, I'd be like, yeah, this is fine, but it's just so like basic and there's so many bands out there that are making music like them. But I didn't know that they had been around for so long. So I was listening to a playlist of like this newer weird metalcore band. Actually, while I was doing some field work with some Frisbees. This was a couple months ago. I've been sitting on this one for a while.
Up in your keister?
Up in my keyhole. And it just like started auto playing random shit after that. And it played this song called, I don't remember what it was called. Maybe it was Early Grave. I can't remember. It was one of the songs off this album, which I'll say here in a second. But it played, and I was like, yeah, this is pretty good. Like, this isn't bad. Who is this by? And I was like, what the fuck? Architects. I'm like, it's almost one of those moments where you like hear a song by someone you thought you hated.
Yeah.
And then you're like, wait, I didn't like that. I didn't actually like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then so I was like, let me dive into this album. And I did. So the main album I'm recommending is Hollow Crown by Architects from 2009.
Wow.
This was
You're going back to like the other band that you listened to from like 2009.
Texas in July?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
It's
really
a lot
cheesy.
Oh, the cheesy one. Which one was the cheesy one?
I don't know.
I can't remember either. They're all kind of cheesy. Even this is a little cheesy, but like this is very mathcore, metalcore, which is what I fucking love. And I was like, why did this band start making shit music? Because now it's more like melodic and like I said, really overproduced. This is like raw energy metalcore. Like this is honestly, this is going up there as one of my favorite albums of all time. Like it's just that good. The production quality kind of shit. It's not the best, but I cannot stop listening to it. And it's one of those albums that every time I listen to it, it's just so good. It's just like so much energy in it. Follow the Water.
So like this is going on your sex playlist, right?
Oh, of course. We're All Alone. I love those songs. Such a fucking banger album. So then I'm like, okay, let me just like listen to some older stuff. I was like, when did they like start making shit music? And it was after that album in 2009. Their next album I tried listening to and I was like, I don't think I can do it. It's just a little too weird. So I was like, okay, let me go back a step because they released 2 albums before that. And then I listened to Ruin, which came out in 2007, which I'm also recommending as just kind of like a secondary. And this album's fucking amazing. Again, production quality is not that great. There's like one song that's like an interlude and it's so much louder than every single song on the album. But this song is, again, just raw energy. It's so fucking good. You'll Find Safety is one of my favorite songs off of that. It's just fucking amazing. And this was when their now vocalist Sam Carter joined the band. And so again, it's just weird to like, because he doesn't sound anything like this anymore. And he doesn't even really like scream as much as he like used to. Like this is all screaming. There is some singing, but not much. And then the album before that, I didn't give much listen to because he wasn't on it, and I didn't really think it was that great. But man, that blew me away. Made me an Architects fan, but like, I just can't do their new stuff. It's not great. Sorry that went on a little long, but I had to nerd out a little bit about that.
Wouldn't go as far as to say you're a big fan then.
No, and there's no way they perform any of these songs live. So it's like anymore. I can't even go see them play it. But like, man, and it's just so like it's weird because it's like I say this all the time, and I know I'm wrong for saying this, but it just feels so ahead of its time. But even though it probably wasn't, because I'm sure there's other bands that were doing stuff like this. But it's like this is the stuff that newer bands are doing now that I really like. But I'm finding out that like bands like then were doing it.
Oh yeah,
like exceptionally. Like to an amazing level. So anyways, that's what I'm listening to. Go give that a listen if you want some fucking raw shit. Let's get out of here.
Well, everybody, thanks for listening to Takes All Kinds podcast, episode 148. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, 148, baby.
Keep liking, keep subscribing, keep listening, keep giving some feedback. Love talking to you guys about the podcast. And I will, we'll be here.
Yeah, we'll be here doing our usual, right-wing talking points and giving advice like we do every week.
Manosphere.